just like everyone else, I'll re-swear you in abundance. Do you swear or affirm any testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you may make your way to the witness stand. Please watch your step. You may proceed.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Mathewson. I wanted to go through a few things regarding the times between February and March of 2017. Do you recall what date you went and filed for an injunction in February of 2017?
The 20th was a Monday. It was a holiday, and the courts were closed. So I had to file when they opened, which was the Tuesday, the 21st, because the event happened on a Saturday, the 18th.
And did you do that in person at the Hillsborough County Courthouse?
Because I did that at the spring.
And do you recall if I was served that injunction?
I wouldn't have been the one to serve you, but I was given the paperwork back that you were served.
Okay. Do you recall on February 22nd if there was a text from you to me asking when you would see the children?
That was my day to get the children. I didn't get the children on my day. So possibly I did, and then when I didn't get my children on that day, then it went through everything with my attorney.
Okay. Prior to February 22nd, had you attempted to get an injunction against me ever before?
Yes.
What date was that?
That was October 2016.
Do you remember what day in October 2016?
Towards the end of the month, maybe the 20, no. It was towards the end of the month in October. I can't tell you the exact date.
Okay. Did we have a hearing on that injunction?
We did have a hearing on that injunction.
And at that injunction hearing, do you recall what the judge's ruling was?
Objection, Judge. Improper. Relevance.
I'll sustain as to relevance.
Do you remember what time we had that injunction hearing on November 10th?
I can't recall what happened. Oh, I can't recall what happened in 2016 and what times things happened. No.
Okay. Do you remember if you had all of the children while we were waiting for a ruling on that injunction?
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
I'm going to allow it if she remembers.
I was granted temporary custody of all 5 children at that time.
Okay. And after that injunction hearing, do you recall coming to my house that afternoon?
I don't recall.
Do you recall between November 10th, 2016 and November 12th, 2016, if we were in communication.
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
Do you recall? Hold on. Between this, if we were in communication, no, I'll allow.
I don't recall, but it is possible because at that point I didn't have full custody of the children, so I was forced to communicate in time sharing with you.
Do you remember how many times approximately we met or did things with the children between November 10th, 2016 and February 18th, 2017?
I can't tell you how many times I had to meet you. It was twice a week to exchange children. That I know for sure.
Okay. Do you recall if we spent time together as a family on the holidays in 2016? I'm sorry, at the end of 2016?
There is something called gaslighting, and it's twisting of the facts, using the children to manipulate and force me into staying when I bring them halfway through Christmas over to your home so you can spend half of Christmas with them, which is considered co-parenting, and then making them make me feel bad for not staying. That is gaslighting, manipulation tactics.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Mathewson, I wasn't asking about that. I was asking if...
I answered your question. Sorry.
I just needed a yes or a no as to whether or not we spent time together as a family on any holidays at the end of 2016.
The answer would be yes.
And did we attend counseling as a family and individuals between November...
Objection, Judge. Subject of a motion in limine.
Sustained.
I'll move forward. On who is Cheryl Danielson?
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
Sustained.
Between October of 2016 and March of 2017, were you in communication with any neighbors in my community?
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
Hold on. 2016. I'll allow her to answer that question. I'm not sure where he's going with it, but I'll allow that question.
I lived in that community for longer than I lived in my new community, and yes, I had friends in the Panther Trace community.
Was one of those friends Cheryl Danielson?
Yes.
Did Cheryl Danielson communicate with you about activities going on in my home?
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
Sustained.
Did you ever receive text messages from Cheryl Danielson concerning me in and around the time of these events?
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
Sustained.
In the weekend of March 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2017, do you recall the name of the street where we parked and stayed for approximately 30 hours?
I do not. I was not familiar with that area, and I did not see the street name. If I did, I told it to the police when I was first found.
Okay. Do you know if that place was relatively close to where your phone was found?
I don't know the proximity from where the phone was found to that location, but it was a drive. It's not like it was in the general vicinity.
Okay. You had stated that you had blisters on your heels, you said from being tied up. Why did you put on shoes if you had blisters already on your heels?
I needed to wear shoes to walk through such a dense area. I wouldn't be walking through and going on the treks that you had me going on barefoot.
Did you have flip-flops in the car?
I wouldn't wear flip-flops to go on the type of activity that you had me going on.
Did you ever make a statement to police that you had the keys?
Objection, Judge Leading.
Not if she can answer the question with a yes or a no. Go ahead and finish the question.
Did you ever tell law enforcement that you were in possession of the keys on the weekend of March 11th to March 13th?
I do not recall.
Do you recall if you had the keys on you?
At no time did I have the keys on me.
Do you recall if you were ever in the driver's seat of the vehicle?
I don't ever recall being in the driver's seat of the vehicle.
Do you recall any of the discussions we had about what we would say to the police?
Objection,
Sunday?
Judge asked and answered.
Sustained.
Do you recall any specific things we were planning on telling the police when we spoke on the weekend of March 11th to March 13th?
Objection, Judge asked and answered.
Sustained.
Were you ever concerned about what we would tell the police if we were
Objection,
found?
Judge asked and answered.
I don't recall that. Maybe, but I don't recall that specific question, so I'll allow it. Overruled as to asked and answered.
Can you repeat the question?
Were you ever concerned about what we would tell the police if we were found or came back in touch with them?
At no time was I concerned if the police found us what I would be saying to them. At no time was I concerned about that.
Okay. Are all the facts in my interview correct?
No, they are not correct.
No more further questions, Sharon.
Cross-examination.
Ms. Summers, when you had to drop the kids off when you were sharing them on Christmas, did the children want you to stay so that you could be a family on that holiday?
One child in particular, yes.
And what child was that?
Landon.
Was he the one that you had struggled with the most, or that he was struggling with the most with your separation?
Yes.
So did you stay to try and help the situation in your relationship with him?
Yes.
Why is it that you got an injunction in October of 2016 against the defendant?
I became aware of activity that Mr. Summers was involved in that caused me to start questioning him. He doesn't like to be questioned. He likes to dictate what is happening and doesn't like anyone to question him. So when I started questioning, it became obvious that I was in domestic violence.
Was there physical domestic violence that you were in fear of?
At this point, it was starting.
what happened, was there a specific incident that happened in October of 2016 that caused you to get the injunction?
I'm going to object, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain it. Do we need to take a break?
We're going to need to take a break, Judge.
Let's take the jury out. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do not discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Do not do any research related to the case. All rise for the jury. Jury is exited. Door is closed. Everyone may be seated. All right, Ms. Johnson, where are you going with this?
Judge, the defendant opened up the door. He's the one who brought up the October 2016 injunction. He asked her, did you get an injunction? Just questioned her about it.
He
So
asked
now-
a bunch of questions that I sustained your objections to. There was some minimal stuff, so that's the state's position. He's opened up the door, so now what are you gonna get into? What is this altercation, or what are the specific evidence that you anticipate her to testify to?
Judge, I thought there was a violent act that had occurred that led her to get the October injunction, but I would need her to refresh my memory because I didn't even. I would never
let
go
me
this.
ask, you're asking a question now you don't know the answer to, that could potentially cause some harm to this case. You don't know the answer.
My understanding is that she got an injunction because she feared for her safety. I never talked about an October 2016 injunction.
I understand that.
And so the defendant is the sole person that brought it up, asked, he's the one that said, did you ever get an injunction against me before the February 18th incident? That is open up the door wide open.
Actually, time out. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to step out. Hold on, Mr. Summers. I will eventually hear from you. I promise you. All right, the witness has exited the courtroom. All right, Ms. Johnson. So yes, he did ask about the 2016 injunction. Now you're asking her what was the actual thing that happened that led to that, but it sounds like you're not sure what she's going to say.
That's my understanding, is that he has opened up the door to allow that evidence in by asking about it.
What evidence?
Why she
What
sought
is
an
she going to
injunction.
say? But what is she specifically going to say? Is she going to say that there's something related to the offshore accounts? Is she going to say something that one of the other motions in limine regarding his other activities?
Very careful, Judge. She could have brought all that out, and she is the one that specifically is dancing around it and not coming out and saying it because she knows not to do that. But he has opened up the door so many times during this entire trial that the state has not walked through.
Okay, hold on. What's your response, Mr. Summers?
Your Honor, I was objecting to misstatement of the facts. I asked if she sought for an injunction, and she's saying injunction as if the injunction was granted, and you sustained her objection to me speaking about whether or not the injunction was granted. And now she's stating it as the injunction is granted, saying that she had an injunction and she did not. So that's why I'm objecting. I just asked a simple yes or no. Did you seek to get an injunction?
Hold on. Madam Court Reporter, I apologize to you. Can you go back to the question that he asked of the witness regarding the injunction and let me know if she testified that an injunction was granted or whether she sought an injunction, please? Injunction, please. Well, no, I want to read that just so they know. I'm not sure exactly the best way to do it. You tell me. I know you can't.
The best way to do it is to have them, well,
Yeah. So I want to read so they know what I am seeing.
the minute I start writing, it's going to scroll down. So
Right.
what I can do is print a couple of pages. Otherwise, it's going to scroll down the minute I start writing.
Yeah. Can you print them here? Yeah. Let's go ahead and print all of this so that I can read to them what and where the objections were made and what was said. Just so we all have, let's just calm down for a minute. We all have the best information. So when I make this ruling, that I make the best ruling that I can make. What I have, it's a couple of pages, just so that you all have it. I'm starting on page 302, line 3. Okay, prior to December, prior to February 22nd, had you attempted to get an injunction against me ever before? The answer was yes. Question, and what date was that? Answer, that was October 2016. Question, do you remember what day in October 2016? Answer, towards the end of the month, maybe the 20th. No, it was towards the end of the month in October. I can't recall the exact date. Question, did we have a hearing on that injunction? Answer, we did have a hearing on that injunction. Question, and at that injunction hearing, do you recall what the judge's ruling was? State attorney, objection, judge. The court, legal basis. State attorney, improper. State attorney, relevance. The court, I'll sustain as to relevance. Defendant, okay. Question by the defendant, do you remember what time we had that injunction hearing on November 10th? Answer, I can't recall what happened. Oh, I can't recall what happened in 2016 and what times things. No. Question, do you remember if you had all of the children while we were waiting for a ruling on that injunction? State attorney, objection, judge, relevance. The court, I'm going to allow it if she remembers. And then the answer, I was granted temporary custody of all 5 children at that time. Question by the defendant, okay, after that injunction hearing, do you recall coming to my house that afternoon? Answer, I don't recall. Question, do you recall between this November 10th, 2016 and November 12th, 2016, if we were in communication? State attorney, objection as to relevance. The court, hold on. The court, no, I'll allow it. The witness, I don't recall, but it is possible because at that point I didn't have full custody of the children, so I was forced to communicate in time sharing with you. Then question, do you remember how many times approximately we or did things with the children between November 10th and November 10th, 2016 and February 18th, 2017? Answer, we. I can't tell you how many times I had to meet you. It was twice a week to exchange children. That I know for sure. Question, okay, did you recall if we spent time together as a family on the holidays in 2016? I'm sorry, at the end of 2016. Answer, there is something called gaslighting and it's twisting. I don't need to read that. I'm going down to page 304, bottom, line 24, question, and did we attend counseling as a family and individuals between November? State attorney, objection, judge, subject of a motion in limine. The court sustained. The defendant, okay. By the defendant, I'll move forward on who is Cheryl Danielson. Objection, relevant, sustained. Between October of 2016 and 2017, were you in communication with any neighbors in my community? Objection, judge, relevance, hold on. The court, I'll allow her to answer that question. I'm not sure where he's going with it, but I'll allow that question. The witness, I lived in that community for longer than I lived in my new community, and yes, I had friends in the Trace community. Question, was one of those friends Cheryl Danielson? Yes. Did Cheryl Danielson? All right. now I've read so much that I don't remember. There's nothing in there. Is it possible that it's somewhere else as to whether the injunction was granted, or is that all where he talks about whether one was sought? State, do you know? I mean, Ms. Johnson, do you know?
No, I don't believe I objected to his question when you asked if it was granted. I was just asking her what brought her to file for the injunction. If the court's going to allow it, if not, that's fine, Judge. We'll move on.
I don't know. I mean, I like to measure twice, cut once. I don't want to retry this case is my issue. So here's the problem I have. I think I need to bring her in, allow her to proffer the question, because normally when there's an objection and the witness doesn't, she hasn't answered it. So I don't know what she's going to say. So normally I ask, what is the answer going to be, so I can make a ruling as to relevance, hearsay, prejudicial, whatever. So until I know what she says, I'm sorry, but I can't rule on it. Now, if you want me to bring her in and allow her to proffer the answer so that then I can make an appropriate ruling, I'm willing to do that. If you want to withdraw the question and move on, I'm willing to allow that.
I'll move on, Judge.
All right. You need to say anything, Mr. Summers?
No, she's going to move on.
All right. Let's bring her back in, put her on the stand, and call the jury back out. I'm sorry. I just like to take my time. I don't want to try this case again. Leave the courtroom, but go ahead, come back and have a seat, and then we'll call the jury, or you could remain standing if you wish. Deputy Estea is going to go get the jury, and he'll let us know when he comes back to the door to stand. So it's up to you whether you want to sit, understand. Jury is present and seated. Everyone else may be seated at this time. Gentlemen of the jury, welcome back. We're going to pick up where we left off. Ms. Johnson, you may proceed.
Ms. Mathewson, the defendant had asked you on direct examination if you had ever sought an injunction prior to February of 2017, and you stated you had in October 2016.
Correct.
Is that when you moved out of the family home?
Yes.
And then you were also asked in direct examination whether you would have been concerned about what you would tell the police if they found you. You wanted the police to find you.
Yes,
A
I
lot.
did. I did.
So you would have never had any concerns if the police were going to find you.
No.
And you would have told them exactly what you told them on March 13th of 2017.
Correct.
Nothing further, Judge.
Redirect.
No, I do not have any further questions.
May this witness be released by you, Mr. Summers?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down. You may be released to the witness at this time. Mr. Summers, I'll ask you to call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Sergeant Harrison Bashner.
Sergeant Harrison Bashner.